Hey YouTube, welcome back to Tinker with Tools. Milwaukee just came out with a new premium tool tote that's taking aim at some of the best bags in the industry. So we're going to find out today if it's a hit or a miss. Let's get into that on Tinker with Tools. So at their 2023 pipeline event, they announced this product, which is their Milwaukee Packout 10-inch structured tote. Now, Milwaukee's had tool totes before that were compatible with their Packout system. This one is clearly coming in at a different price point, one that is very similar to some of the best bags in the industry today. So I guess the question is this going to be worth the price increase, or if you're better off sticking with some of those lower tier Milwaukee Packout totes that might already be available to you. So first off, I'm going to be showing you what I currently use as my go bag, as I like to call it. I'm going to be talking about what I like about it and give you a little bit of an update on what I have been using. Then we're going to go ahead and get it emptied out, compare both of them empty, and then we're going to load up this one, and I'll kind of show you what we loaded out with. And I'll kind of give you just my first impressions for how it handles things and how well it works and the overall just general build quality in it. So let's go ahead and talk about what I have been using first. All right, so currently I've been using this. This is the Veto Pro Pack Tech OT-MC. Now, if you're familiar with Veto Pro Pack, you know that they are known for their top-notch build quality, just overall ruggedness, and just how well their bags work for what they do. And overall, I have been very impressed. This is certainly an upgrade over what I was using. I've got videos on my previous bag, the Tough Built Tool Tote, but I could not be more happy with it. My reason for purchasing the Milwaukee one is not necessarily to replace this one, but to see if it can stack up to what I have been using, which is this. So let's go ahead, we're gonna get this one emptied out real quick, and then we're gonna go ahead and compare the two dry, and once we do that, then I'll go ahead and load up the Packout tote, and we'll kind of see how it handles the same loadout, and maybe change a couple of the tools out, but we'll tell you what we're putting in there as well. All right, so now we got them both emptied out. We were able to weigh them. The Milwaukee's coming in just over a pound heavier. They are not identical bags, but I think it's more just that open tote style of bag is popular. Milwaukee went for this size footprint, and so although they are very similar, they are a little bit different. The Veto seems to be a little bit wider. The Milwaukee is a little bit narrower, but it's taller and a little bit longer. As I look around, you know, construction methods are somewhat similar, but it's just tiny differences. Both bags are made in China, so in case that's important to you, they are both made in China. They both have leather kind of protecting this upper edge or like keeping it from wearing out. I will say that the Veto leather feels more premium. As I was kind of looking at it, the Milwaukee bag seems to have more pockets overall, and they have pockets of varying sizes. It also seems that the Milwaukee bag is almost made for certain Milwaukee accessories, so these little pockets on the end seem custom made for batteries, and that is something that if you're using M12, I think that really makes a lot of sense. But let's go ahead and get them loaded out, and then I'll kind of give my impression of how they are and how I think they're going to end up, and we'll go ahead and get it loaded out. All right, we've got it loaded up. Let's go ahead and talk about what's in it. So I just keep one of these Klein, they're 27-in-1, kind of the micro or precision screwdriver. This is the best precision screwdriver I've found. I love this so much that it's actually made it into my smaller go bag as well. Next up, I do like just having a dedicated Phillips and flat blade screwdriver. I went with the new Milwaukee made in the USA examples for this case. I think they're pretty solid screwdrivers. For alignment pliers, I did go with the MT500s from Milwaukee. I don't use alignment pliers a ton, but when I do, I like having a nice pair. These are definitely to the point where they're right up there. Next is going to be Knipex Cobras, just the standard 10-inch size, I believe it is. These are fabulous, very versatile pliers. I don't think anything else needs to be said why I put a pair of Cobras in here. Then I've got the MT506, the little diagonal cutters from Milwaukee. This is one that might get swapped out. I really do like the Weeha bi-cuts. You know, this is going to operate just like a larger pair of diagonal cutters, but then when you go ahead and press that power button, the leverage point changes on them compared to the smaller pair of Knipex Cobalts that they are very similar in how easy they go through stuff. By having a single tool, I can kind of have 2 different versions of it. So those will probably end up in there. I've got the Milwaukee MT 555. These are the made in USA needle nose. I really like them. The needle nose pliers from the old version of the Milwaukee were ones that I didn't have a problem with. I felt they operated really well. But these are just really nice smooth pliers as well. I like having a plier wrench. I choose this over an adjustable wrench almost always, just because how it is. This is an example from NWS. And then if I ever need to do any wire stripping, I just went with this Knipex kind of multiplier or whatever. Really, this could probably replace the needle nose, and for what I do, even probably the lineman, and just go with something like this. But I like trying out different tools, and so that is in there. Okay, over here, this is where you start to see the benefit of Milwaukee making a bag for Milwaukee tools. They've got 2 of these battery holsters down here that fit M12 batteries just perfectly. Just went with a Milwaukee 16-foot auto lock. I really, for what I do, 16 foot is usually enough. I've talked about these before. These are the Crescent Wiss titanium coated utility shears. Next up, this is one of the newer purchases. I finally went ahead and tried something from Tajima. This style of knife is definitely my preferred style. I really do like, for when I'm pocket carrying, one of the folding knives, but if I can afford the space, this is just my preferred style. As we get to in a minute, I do carry 1/4-inch sockets, and so I've gone ahead with a little Icon flex head. All right, and then we just got a little voltage tester and flashlight. Electrical stuff is not something I'm super comfortable with, so I do like having something to kind of test to make sure I'm doing. And along those same lines, I've just got an outlet tester. Peace of mind for me more than anything, just to make sure stuff's set up the right way and done correctly. This is a new pickup for me. I've had previous Vessel ratcheting screwdrivers. They were this one that just had the actual little bit there. This one might make it back in there because it can become a stubby ratcheting really quick, but unfortunately it doesn't then accept really traditional bits that way. So this one is just going to be more your long hand with traditional bits that go in there. The Vessel ball grip ratcheting screwdrivers are just phenomenal. We're going to have to do a ratcheting screwdriver video soon because I've got feelings on it and definitely some opinions. I keep this Goldblatt painter's tool in here just to kind of have a all-in-one, type of tool for scraping and doing different things. I like it, but I think I might switch to the folding Purdy one just for space savings. It does really fit in pockets this way and takes up a lot of space. For the work I do around my house, I've just got kind of the 3 common bits, a T25, a T20, and then I also do some Phillips stuff now and then. And so I just got those there on this little key ring from Vessel. Keeps it nice. On this end, I went with the little Milwaukee mini carpenter square, the 4.5-inch one. I've got my SAE and metric socket rails from Makita. Absolutely love those. They're 1/4-inch, so they work with that. They also then obviously have adapters that are going to work with any of the different drivers that I use and different things like that. So for that reason, that's why 1/4-inch ended up in the bag. Milwaukee Ingersoll. Given this around, this is the Sola TLM2. It's new to me. Decided to pick them up and kind of do a little head-to-head between all the different little Carpenter pencils. Love the Carpenter pencil. Haven't really given that one too much a run, but I'll let you know what my thoughts are on it. And then the Milwaukee kind of pen light. I have a Rover light that belongs in these bags somewhere, and I was looking for it, and I could have sworn it was in one of these bags, but I'm just not seeing it, and so for that reason, the pen light's in there. I do just have a little magnetic stud finder from C.H. Hansen. Just goes in that little pocket there. It is nice having a little pocket. And then here in the center, right now I've got the installation drill driver. You could easily put any of the M12 tools in here. They'll fit. I do have the Wera hex keys, both in metric and SAE, and they're fabulous hex keys, but they're very large. And oftentimes I find I would just rather have something a little bit smaller. So I might switch to some of the folding ones. Milwaukee makes one, Weha has them. They're all great, but they just seem really large and they don't really fit well in any of the pockets here necessarily. Pair of safety glasses when you're doing work, and then a Bosch laser distance measure. This isn't anything special, but I absolutely do love it. All right, so there you have the tour of the bag. Like I said, always let me know if you have certain things that you feel very strongly should be in there. Mine's just kind of set up for general home maintenance or general projects around the house or whatever, things I find myself getting into, but I'm certainly open to hearing what you like to carry in yours and how you like to kit them out. All right, so now impressions of the bag, kind of the first impressions of the build quality and everything. I do think it's a step up from their current bag. I went to Home Depot today to try and pick up one of their 10-inch Packout totes that was the predecessor to this, the lower tier ones, if you will, and they didn't carry them in stores. They had the 15-inch one, And overall, I just think that the build quality was less premium. If you check out the reviews on some of those bags, you'll often find very mixed reviews. You'll have one person saying, fits all my needs, it works okay, is great for the price point. That's a common theme. It's great for the price point. But then you have other people that say, you know, could have been good, but this or this was wrong. Or, you know, they show different issues of it tearing or coming apart or whatever. When it comes to that, they certainly have stepped up the build quality in there. When I compare it head to head directly to that Veto, it does feel almost maybe just a slight step behind. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a big difference between the build quality, but there does just something that feels maybe a little more premium on the Veto bag. But this is a significantly better bag than those old totes. Feels more rugged, more durable. The materials used on it do feel quite premium. The strap is something that I feel is actually better on this bag. Not necessarily how it connects to the bag, but the strap itself is a very nice one. I do like that they made the strap so that it can kind of have a place to sit, so it's not just dangling down or getting in the way. That is something that's nice. Overall, what I'm able to fit in the bag, I think the internal pocket structure, there are some things that just fit better in this bag than they do in the Veto. They seem to have offered either bigger overall little compartments for tools or enough different sizes and enough different compartments that I was actually able to fit everything quite well inside this tote. Obviously, I think the biggest advantage is if you are already on the Milwaukee Packout system, or if you're already using that for a lot, this one feels like a no-brainer compared to the Veto, simply because of the Packout compatibility. And so instead of having your choice of going with one of the best bags or going with an inferior bag that works with your Packout, now you have a premium quality bag that is going to be able to go with that. And it is clearly made with the professional in mind, and I think it's going to be a very nice high quality bag. Now obviously these are just first impressions right now. This is not having put it and used it and abused it. That's going to come later, and obviously a professional putting it through its paces is probably going to figure out some stuff faster than I will. I do commit that I'll give you an update on this in perhaps say 6 months and let you know how it's holding up. It's going to be hard to give up my Veto for a little while, but if I'm going to do it for any bag, I think this is probably going to be one of the better options. So there you have it, the Milwaukee Packout 10-inch structured tote. I think it is a worthy step up into the professional realm. I think along with their hand tools that we included some of them in this build out here, I think those are steps in the right direction for their hand tools that maybe have not been quite on that professional level and now are certainly going to be more on that professional level. And I think they're taking it seriously. And I guess only time will tell if it is going to hold up and stand the test of time. But the initial impressions are strong. If you have any questions about the tote or any of the tools included in it, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. If you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And until next time, I'll catch you on Tinker with Tools.